Welcome to today's course. Welcome to the practical guide to prepare the annual MiFID report. This course includes these video recordings where you can view the courses and the part of this lecture anytime you like and as many times as you want. Self-study material for the revision and preparation where you can print it and download them. Test questions for self-assessment. You will be acquired the knowledge and necessary information for completing your compliance annual report, and you will be equipped with knowledge on the required content for the areas inspected by this compliance officer. In other words, we will guide you how to create also your compliance monitoring program. We start our course with the compliance function. Within this course, of course, we are discussing how the function will prepare its own report. We are going through the reference of the guidelines of the CySEC circular, but before we are doing that, we go through the duties and responsibilities of this function. So, responsibilities are explained: effectiveness, permanence, independence, organizational requirements, monitoring obligations, and compliance function Q&As. We start within this section, the introduction on how to prepare the annual MiFID report. Therefore, within this section, we are discussing the obligation, the purpose and significance of the report, the timeline and the reference period that we have, submission to the board of directors meeting minutes that we have to prepare, submission to the CySEC, and the general context of the report where we are going to analyze them in the separate sections. The purpose of it, of course, is to effectively direct the business of the investment firm, where we cover all business units, including the investment service activities, ancillary services. And in case the report does not cover all the activities provided, we have to explain within the report why. So, we are starting preparing our annual reports, and we are starting, of course, from the executive summary. Within this section, we are discussing characteristics, structure that we are following, findings and rectifications from previous year, findings and recommendations for this year. So, we are discussing now the executive summary, and in the next sections of our course, we are discussing information about the company, legal framework, business divisions, compliance functions, inspections, and correspondence with CySEC. Now, we are having an introduction of the report with general overview, purpose and objectives, why we are drafting this report, the purpose of it, the compliance officer's objectives, key findings and weaknesses, summary of all key findings, recommendations. So we have the compliance officer recommendations and rectifications occurred within the year, and of course the key findings that we have this year. Conclusion: compliance officer's final thoughts and signature. Recommendations that we are providing has to be included with the summary. The key, of course, risks. So we have to outline the measures that we are suggesting as compliance officer, and we are suggesting it to the board. Rectification, weaknesses, time frame, and of course, we have to decide in the end who is going to oversee the implementation. And conclusion: presentation of the compliance officer final thoughts, key takeaways of the year under review. So this is the most important section of the executive summary. Within this section of our course, we are discussing the annual MiFID report, which is following the executive summary. Here we are discussing the company information, the legal framework, and the relevant business decisions. So, the company information includes general information, including its name, the registration number of the entity, contact information, the website, which is an authorized and approved domain by the regulator. This section of our course discusses the compliance function, the inspections, test-based and on-site inspections that you are doing, and the results of it. So we are discussing policies, procedures, organization requirements, operating conditions, the client account opening and closing, back office department, AML, accounting, finance, provision of services, business development and customer support, and finally, information technology. What these departments did within the year under review. So, this is the gist of our report. So, a detailed description of all areas examined has to be in detail within our report. So, we are going through organization structure, governance arrangements, operating requirements, any client complaints, and marketing material disseminated, including website, social media advertisements, email sent to clients. We are finalizing our course with the final section of the annual report, CySEC communication and the reporting tips. Within this section, we are of course analyzing the correspondence with CySEC and other competent authorities and our tips. So, this is the previous sections that we are covering, and then we are finalizing our report with this section, plus the appendix that, as I said, is good to have of the monitoring program that you are following. So, investment firms should ensure that the compliance function is involved in all material and non-routine correspondence with the regulator, with CySEC, in the area of investment services and activities. In other words, the compliance officer is the point of contact of all correspondence.